to another session of the World of Horen adventure. Thank you for joining us again tonight, folks. Sorry for the hiatus last week. We are back and ready to rumble in the deep citadel of Haganebuto, the ancient home of the dwarven kind within the world of Horen. Last week, our heroes got here for a very simple reason: find the speaker of the city and find out why he's been missing. Well, turns out he's gone on a walkabout into the deep below the city, and during which there's been some calamities, and the local lord has been poisoned to some degree. Not poisoned physically, but magically put into a coma. We rejoin our adventure as Theo, Cecil, and Daphne, I believe, are all headed back up towards the tavern to rest. It is during the time of morning within the city, and it's late. They will reach back to the tavern just a little bit after Pelir and Obi do, who went on their excursion. Now, as you two kind of regroup, you'll obviously have to fill each other in on what you've discovered.
On the way there, I will have turned to Daffy and asked her, say, do you think that it's a good idea to go ahead and send what we know to the person that hired us in the first place?
Well, we're supposed to find the speaker guy, and we know that he's gone now and possibly hurt her dad because he went down. What do they call it again? Yeah, down. Maybe we should find out where he actually is. Actually is?
Yeah, sure. It's not like we're going to die between now and then or anything. That'd be...
Right.
Don't worry about that. We do know is we know where he went. And we could, if you wish to send that message to them, where hey, we will kind of locate where he's at, and we're gonna check him out. We're gonna check that location, see what's up, But anything else, stuff about figuring out about the Lord and the Mistress, we should just keep that to ourselves. We don't know exactly whose side they're on.
Okay. Push open the door.
Okay.
Hey!
Yeah, hello.
So, not dead. Like we suspected. Is anybody around?
Inside, are you inside your room or you're inside the tavern? Because inside the proper tavern, everything's kind of died down. There's no musician playing. There's no people inside the tavern themselves other than the Rockseeker family that you had already met, and Rockfist, sorry, not Rockseeker, Rockfist family that you had already met with previously and dealt with, that gave you all the information. They're kind of closing up for the night.
Where's Pellier and Obi hanging out presently? Are they in the tavern, or are they in the...
Probably in their room pretending they never left.
Is that where you guys are?
You might catch us climbing back through the window if you hurry. Like teenagers on prom night.
I think we're in our proper room then.
Yeah, you're in your room.
Okay.
So, private.
All right. So yeah, the Lord is not even in a natural coma. He's in a magically induced coma. Daffy was able to tell that it was enchantment on him. I think we just need a dispel. Potent one, potentially. Because me and Cecil both tried our ways. The positive energy didn't push out whatever was in there.
Well, yeah, if we can find the spell, then I can read it and I can do it.
You certainly could. Our job is to meet the speaker, and if we get him, he can tell people what's in charge. I mean, it sounds like a lot of effort, and we're not going to get anything out of it.
Well, I think we have the mission here in the city, and if we have the good graces of the man in charge, it cannot be a bad thing.
I think that there was something about them deciding to go ahead and hold a vote for the next Lord Protector soon. I mean, within days.
2 days, I believe, was what the gentleman downstairs told us.
So the culprit, whoever is up to no good, very well could finish the job between now and then. You know, we don't know exactly. We know it's an enchantment, but we don't know what enchantment it is.
Obi, I agree. We don't get anything out of this. But at the end of the day, this is an innocent person, from what we can tell. At the very least, I'll give you a nice head scratch or whatever. You like that, don't you?
I mean, that is true. I did not know you knew my deepest secret, but that is certainly true. But again, it's
David just reaches down and does a little scritch, like behind the ears, like that. Oh, sorry, I'm being distracted.
No, yeah. Yes, that was an unwanted distraction.
I write something in my notes.
I mean, I do not know this place. I mean, if the lawkeepers in Irmios knew what was happening, could that undo this election? I mean, we helped the people in Honeygulf. Do we really have to help the people in Citadel Haganabuto as well?
Well, I mean, it depends. Philosophically speaking, if you want to get into it, I'd say that the evildoers, if they won, they would come to power, making this side of the continent a darker place. But it's not always necessarily a bad thing, because with a greater evil comes a greater good. You know, it's all going to be balanced in the end, anyways.
Did you ask? Did you spoke with the madam, the mistress? Did she say she'd be eternally grateful if we helped her? I mean,
yeah, she was very intent on keeping the current lord alive. It looks like she doesn't have a very great living situation without him.
Yeah, so it is a boon. So if we help her, she helps us.
Yeah, she's a pretty lady. You know, she might be married, but she's nice to look at, Obi.
Oh, well, in that case.
Smile on her face when you save her husband. Oh, Obi, you are the greatest hero ever.
Cecil, do not make it weird. Just...
I'm gonna scratch his neck.
Okay, now we are getting a little
uncomfortable.
This is getting a little weird. Okay, I will agree if you will stop.
Look, we don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. So we need to get this done. We got 2 days. We need to tomorrow. I assume we're gonna go down to where we need to go. We're gonna save the Seeker or find his corpse. Either or. It doesn't really matter to me. We get this done, and then we figure out what we're gonna do with the Lord.
What do you mean you don't have a lot of time, Cecil?
Cecil looks to the side. Nah. He looks out the window and it's like, there's not a lot of time, alright? Let's just get what we gotta do. We can help save other people or go steal stuff like for Obi or something. I don't know.
Well, if this is a magical ailment, then it would make sense to see if we can find something to relieve this condition. This could be perhaps something done very quickly. While you were out, did you happen to notice any mercantile things that we could perhaps a book or a book bindery or somewhere with the libraries that could have these spells?
I think there were a couple places that we could try.
Mm-hmm.
We can go look.
He has been sick for some time. I think we are better to find whoever is doing it and perhaps we could do both.
How would we go about doing this? It seems if it is a simple enchantment that can be broken, then it would be a very simple matter to reverse the effects. But if we don't want to do that and we just want to see who is responsible, how would we go about such a thing?
Like, I can think of a variety of methods that you may or may not agree with. Torture the right person, that's always a good option.
That is never a good option.
I say that in jest.
But we'd still have to find the right person before you did mean things to them.
Well, you do the wrong person enough times, eventually you find the right person.
Yeah, I read that in a book once.
I think it might be a little bit easier to just go ahead and find a scroll.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
Maybe there's a scroll here that we can purchase. Or maybe we can do something for somebody quickly and in exchange ask for the scroll.
Okay, so
we're not just gonna go somewhere and just find it.
We could also put together a list of the enemies of the head of the citadel and chase after them. But
by the way, that is a point that I should make to you all. The High Mistress actually gave me 3 clan names to watch out for that are highly suspect right now.
So we torture one of them. We do 1, 2, 3. By the end, we definitely know.
Not done, OB. Thank you. They are the Chiselback clan, the Gold Crusher clan, and the Stone Twister clan. And the Chiselback and the Gold Crusher sent the clerics that diagnosed the original problem. Diagnosed. Which they're saying is some kind of god work, and that's why it's all taboo.
All right. Let's place our bets, people. I think Gold Crusher?
Gold Crusher, that's my money. That's where my money's at too.
That they sound pretty. They look like they would be the big bad of this little thing.
What was the third one?
Stone Twister is the one that did not send clerics.
If they could have done that to make it look like. Wait, what if they're just all in on it? Could you imagine?
Like they all did it together?
Yes, and they're going to elect one person that they all agree on.
I want to say that, judging by the people that the High Lord is leaving behind, potentially, that he was more well-loved than that.
So you think it's just 1 or 2 mean people that just want to take his power?
I mean, historically, that's where the odds are.
Well, then your question is, are 2 families working together? Or is one family manipulating everyone?
I bet...
My money is on Stone Twister.
I bet Gold Crusher has Chiselback as their patsies.
Well, maybe he knows. Maybe he even saw someone that put an enchantment on him.
Can we ask him?
We gotta wake him up first, so let's get this scroll.
All right,
Okay.
I can take my glider. I can probably make a good time on my own with the city. Do we want to split up separate and just ransack the place, or?
Yes.
Can't make too much of a disturbance here. This is literally the first day we've been here.
Well,
If there was a
everyone's
library,
all sad.
let's just go. There's no reason to tear down the walls. Just if there's a library or someplace, we could just go and see if they have it. If not, then we go into the deep after a night's rest.
Okay.
After you, Mon ami.
So, you guys start heading out looking for that library. While it's late at night and everyone else is going to rest, the streets are barren, but they've been barren all day. No one's leaving. You have to go almost all the way back down to the Golden Palace to reach the library. And if it wasn't for the fact that it has an open window through which you can see a bookcase of shelves, the library here has no markings on it outside that indicate it as such. There's no company name. There's no signage out the front that indicates this is a shop or a place. But through the window, you can clearly see stacks upon stacks of scrolls and books and papers, just going back further than you can see. You go in. No issues with that. You just walk on in.
Is Obi a tabaxi? Through the window.
Through the window, right. So the door to this is not locked. It's not latched in any particular way. It just kind of swings easily for you. As you enter in, the atmosphere here takes on a completely different tone from the tavern that you were in before. Everything is brightly colored around here, but mostly in reds and golds, that kind of hue. There are a continual flame lanterns floating throughout this place, giving it a soft little warm glow about it, and the air is thick with some form of fume or smoke, like someone's burnt far too much incense in here and not opened the window in a while, kind of situation. The moment you walk through the door, a small fellow in big, deep blue robes shuffles towards you. He's using a gnarled and twisted-looking staff to help him walk. And looks at each of you in turn, and then looks up to Daffy.
Hi.
Oh.
We were wondering if maybe you have a scroll that we were looking for.
Oh, for a woman like you, I have many things.
Well, we'll just start with the scroll, though, but maybe, after that we can talk.
Okay. Please, what scroll do you need?
What was the spell again, Theo?
Dispel.
Oh, yes, we needed to dispel an enchantment.
Oh, you wish a magic scroll. Please, follow me. And he'll turn around and he'll start shuffling. And he's slow. Maybe need a little bit of a pat and a push to get him really moving. But after a good couple of minutes, he'll take you through shelf after shelf. The marking system of how these books are organized is just a large series of symbols that. Do any of you speak Dwarvish? No. So none of you can recognize how these are marked, but he barely even looks at anything as he walks through the corridors, but he knows this place in and out before without any sort of issue. He suddenly stops and looks back to you all, brushing his long, thin white hair out of his eyes that somewhat glazed over. Oh, what do you need the dispel for?
Oh, we have this pesky little enchantment that we just got to get rid of.
Okay. Well, to have a spell, it's you can. It is here. You can have it when you can purchase it when the time of mourning is over.
When's that again?
In 2 days.
2 days?
Yes.
Could you maybe make a little teeny tiny exception? It's really important, and I don't think we can wait 2 days.
Roll a persuasion check.
Can I add and possibly assist in this? Say, we understand and respect your culture. If we could have this scroll and then pay you later as well, this would also technically be within the guidelines, I think.
That's true.
Buy now, pay later. May have changed the entire economy of a city with that one phrase. Roll that persuasion check, Daphne, with advantage.
Ooh, with advantage, that is a 23.
23. Oh, okay. You come back. You pay for scroll. 1 dinner. And he points to Daffy and him. 1 dinner, and you have scroll.
Can you give me just one moment? And she'll kind of turn to the group. Do I have to? Really?
Do we have a way of... So, again, we want to be quiet. The goal is being quiet.
Okay, so are we huddling?
Huddle.
The huddle call.
As long as your huddle moves at even a slow pace, you'll stay ahead of him, and he's not going to be able to hit you.
I'll just cast Gust repeatedly and keep him away using Gust.
Okay.
Daphne, I have seen you wear a disguise before. Is it possible that you can impart this disguise onto one of us, and we can go in your stead? I would not...
No, I can only do it for me.
What if we just accept
I do not see the problem. You get a free scroll, you get a free dinner. Everything is coming up aces.
You wouldn't see the problem, would you, Avi?
Especially not if you had friends in the background who could drop in on a moment's notice and kill you.
That's it. That's it. Okay, so I'll say I'll go, and then I'll sit down, and then all of you will join us.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not going to work. He specifically pointed out that it was you.
And I'll be there.
They can go to a
all
very
of
nice
you will
restaurant.
be
They can
there
get the nice
too.
food, and we'll be in another booth.
Is the dinner supposed to be now, or is it like later?
Later.
Later.
No
Alright, so-
trade can be done during the time of morning.
I do not think you are in any physical danger with this fellow. And remember, your lucky talisman will keep you safe.
Oh, I forgot. Hold up the leg.
Listen, there are things that we have to do. I don't want you to do this, to be honest, but if there's no other way, I might just have to take one for the team. Eventually, I will also take one for the team.
All right.
So would Obi, so will Theo, so will Palir.
You will all
Says-
be
says
there, right?
Yeah, I'm not
Absolutely.
gonna let him lay a hand on you if you don't want him to.
I mean,
I mean, I probably could just put my hand on his little forehead and just like keep him back, but I mean,
But if
You
you
are-
want backup, I'm always here.
you are an accomplished performer. Think of this as your greatest performance.
Wow, that was depressing.
if this is my greatest performance, then maybe I should reevaluate my life choices. All right. Break. All right. She'll turn back around. Of course. That would be lovely. Now, can we have our scroll, please?
Yes, you can have a scroll. And he'll put, how many scrolls do you need?
Oh. Well, just the one, right?
How many will one night of dinner get us? That number. You're doing it anyway. We might as well get as many as we can.
We should get 2. And then have another spell on it, just in case.
She will stay for dessert if we get a third?
I'm pimped out for scrolls right now, y'all. What is this?
And he's just pulling scroll after scroll after scroll out of the shelf. He will give you 2 dispel magic scrolls. Okay. For that, and he'll bow. Thank you. He'll then pull out a 3rd piece of paper and start writing something down on it. Very scrawly writing with a simple chalk pencil that he has. But then he'll hand it to you, and it's effectively his name and address.
Get them digits.
What is his name?
His name is Ishido Shotaro.
Pelir, what languages do you speak? Do you speak Celestial, Draconic, or Infernal?
Sadly, I am only fluent in my native tongue and the common tongue.
Anyone speak those languages?
Which ones?
Celestial, Draconic, or Infernal?
I do.
I speak some Draconic. I have dabbled.
Alright, never mind. We'll talk after we leave.
Okay. You can the instructions just simply state that you can find him at the Shotaro estate when ready. And he looks a little bit excited, a little bit more spring in his step. Is there anything else I can do for you, visitors to the Great Citadel?
Is there anything else?
How much do these scrolls usually cost?
For this level of magic, 300 gold pieces.
That's some dinner.
I will.
Well, all right. I think we're ready to go then. Thank you so much.
With silence, you head on out. As you start making your way back out, he leads you past more of the shelves, kind of directing you so that you can see more of his grand library. You'll see another group of old men, just like him. He is dressed similarly, all sat around a table, talking amongst themselves in Dwarvish, so none of you understand, but they're talking, they're looking at him quite ecstatically while he's leading you all out. Theo, you looked like you were going to say something.
Yeah, after we leave his presence, I was going to turn to Obi and say, Obi, can I talk to you real quick over here?
Yes.
If you ever offer Daffy for any reason, again, I will barbecue you and we will eat you for dinner. Do not offer Daffy. You are not Daffy.
She was already at dinner. I thought the dessert would be just a normal part of the dinner.
Not cool. Not for you.
Listen, we're not.
You're not here.
You're not there.
Oh.
Do you understand, Obi?
But of course.
Okay. That is all.
And then once we're all together, I was going to speak in another language someone else knew, but since no one knows any of the languages I do, that's not happening, Daffy. I'll go get, when it's time, once we're done here, you guys will be waiting outside, and I will be giving him whatever amount of gold he needs, and then I will run. So, you'll be fine. So don't worry. Sometimes in life, you just gotta lie. My dad kind of told me.
I'm not so good at that, but that works. Thank you.
If anything, leave the line to me. So as long as you guys got the money, we good.
I mean, I suppose I am terribly confused. I did not get the feeling he wanted anything more than an actual real dinner. I did not get an innuendo that there is more to it than that. 300 gold is the most expensive dinner you will ever have. I suppose I do not understand. That's okay.
It's okay. One day you will understand.
That's okay.
We are a team, and we're not gonna let anybody do things they don't want to do.
I mean, we could have choked him out and just taken the scrolls.
I didn't want to do that, but I guess
Sometimes you have to do things you do not want to do.
So we have these scrolls. Is now an appropriate time to pay another house call, or should we wait till tomorrow?
It's kind of late. But did the mistress say that we should come back tomorrow? Do you think it'd be a good idea to go as soon as possible?
Honestly, I do think that she would like this over with as soon as possible. And if we are to rest after this, then perhaps it's worth concentrating as hard as we can and doing as much as we can to make this scroll work. You know?
Okay, let's go then.
Okay.
So you head away and back down towards the Golden Palace. Guards positioned as they were last time all around the building to give a show of strength. But this time, as you return, it's not been too long since you last left, another individual starts walking out of the Golden Palace when you arrive. Definitely some form of official individual, dressed in what appears to be robes over some armor. So he's dressed in some nice, big, bulky pieces of half plate to some or something that are then draped over with very official-looking cloth. As he steps out of the door, he will see you guys arrive, and he walks right up towards you with his hands firmly behind his back, just stepping up, slams his feet on the ground in front. Hello.
Hey.
You have been visiting a lot of places today. Who are you? And why?
Well, I'm Daffy. Hi.
Hi, Daffy.
These are my friends.
Right.
I am Belair.
And why
It's
are
good to
you
meet you.
here? What purpose do you have, Daffy, for interrupting our mistress at this time? We
Well, she
heard
kind of
about your
asked
last
us
visit.
to.
Did she ask you to visit her before?
Not before, but then we visited her, and then we would try to do her a favor, and then she said to come back when we could, so now we're here.
The original point of our visit was to record what is happening, because we come from Oakwell. That is all.
Right. Well, it is late, and the mistress should not be disturbed tonight.
Did she
What
tell you
favor
to say
did
that?
she ask you to perform?
Well, it's kind of important, so if we can, we'd like to speak with her.
If anything is important, it should be gone through the proper channels. If you want to do things properly, it should be done properly.
Can I get a...
What's the guy's name? What is your name?
What were you going to say, Theo, though?
Is this guy trying to stop us? Like, straight up, just that's his purpose here. He's trying to stop us.
Roll an insight check. I am Morino Gold Crusher. I am of the Council of Haganibuto. What was your insight check, Theo?
Nat 20. Woohoo! 27 total.
Yes.
27 total. Okay. He is shady like nobody's business, and he is definitely trying to get you to not go inside.
I'm gonna lean forward. I'm gonna get, like, right up in his face. And I'm just gonna kind of look him up and down and squint my eyes at him. Let him know I'm onto him that way. And then I'm gonna turn to my former position, like, I know what's up.
As Lead council member. All business that must be conducted within the Gold Palace should be performed with approval of the council. What favor did you give to the mistress?
Theo, quick question. Is that guard that was the one that took us to the room, is he there?
The sergeant that really liked the mistress? No, he's not there.
Damn it. She's a friend of mine.
I doubt that.
My father, my father, Nimbus, Hathaway, she knew him. She knew her and the Lord. And I'm here because I knew her. She's kind of like a nanny. And we kind of need to get through. Because I miss my nanny.
Roll a deception check.
Alright, hold on. My heart's beating.
I am on the verge of saying at disadvantage.
I got a 13.
13. I highly doubt the High Mistress knew you and your kin.
I'm done with this guy. I'm going to unleash my glider and I'm going to go above him, past him, see what happens.
And I'm gonna grab him.
And as you, so are we rolling initiative right now? Is that what's happening?
As I grab him.
So before you grab,
yeah,
because you're reacting to what Theo has done, right? So Theo takes up into the sky with her glider. Cecil, roll initiative. Just Cecil. I want to see who gets to react first, him or you.
I got a 19.
Where's my dice? Got a 19. Okay, let me get my dice. Okay. Surprisingly dexterous individual gets a 21, and he gets to react just a little bit quicker than you. He sees you go up. Immediately, a whip of lightning stretches out forth from his hand as he is trying to cast lightning lure on you as you're going up over him, Theo. So, with the lightning lure spell, I believe, if I remember rightly, it's just a save that you need to make against the spell. There's no attack roll. Yes, strength saving throw from Theo, please.
Strength. Okay.
Yep.
Is there anything I can do about this? Is he in melee range? That wouldn't matter. That wouldn't matter. Don't worry about it.
No. Yeah.
9.
9. Okay. So as that link of lightning just wraps around your ankle, it pulls you down to the ground with a crack of energy. The whole area just ignites with static electricity. And that's when you get pulled down. Cecil can act. All of the guards behind all draw their long swords, ready to defend. Cecil, what are you doing?
I am trying to grab the dwarf, and because I felt the disgust when he said kin, and I want to beat the shit out of him. But also,
okay.
I want to grab him, and I basically want to like not hold him hostage, but there's a I want to see if I can at least grab him, like if I can successfully grab him first before I do anything.
Okay, so we're going to resolve this grapple, and then everyone's going to roll for initiative, because I think it's going down. So Cecil, go ahead and roll an athletics check, contested by his athletics or acrobatics.
I got a 17.
Grab nice and tight around his shoulders. You've grabbed hold of him.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to roll for initiative. I don't have a battle map set up for this because I wasn't expecting you to attack.
What do I use mine or do I get a new initiative?
We'll keep with yours if you want. If you're okay with that. All right.
All right, everybody.
Everybody.
All right.
Okay. I got a 10 for Theo, 13 for OB. Let me add Daffy in with a 19. Is that right for Daffy? And Cecil, you were at
19.
a 19. Okay. Okay. So, you've grappled him. Daffy, what are you doing?
I am actually going to cast Sending to the mistress.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, we're trying to get to you, but there are some not nice people stopping us. Please send help.
Help is on its way. Please don't hurt anyone unnecessarily.
I'll go ahead and say that out loud. All right, let's not get carried away, everybody. Let's just calm down. All right, we can handle this. Also, please don't hurt anybody.
Before Obi gets to go, all of the guards in unison join into a formation, a small little block together, swords raised, and they start stepping forward right towards you in this small little unit of maybe 6 soldiers. Once they get up to the point where this Gold Crusher fellow was, they all shout a command at you in Dwarvish, which you don't understand. And Gold Crusher just says, "Unhand me, criminals, or you'll face our wrath." Obi, what do you do?
I run away and hide. Close enough that I can get in there if I have to, but far enough away that no one can see me.
Okay, so is that feline agility, move, dash, bonus action, hide?
Action to move to hide, bonus action using my cunning action to hide, and then it leaves me with an action, and I will pull out my bow and arrow, and if anyone tries to stab Daffy, I will shoot them in the face.
Thanks.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I ran away.
I will get into a defensive position, putting myself in between the party and the dwarven guards, and I will unsheath one of my silvered side swords. I will coat it with green flames and begin my blade song and start putting on a performance. I am not attacking, but I am trying to display my expert swordsmanship in an attempt to awe and stall them, that they don't want any of this, or else they will be in a world of hurt. This is what I am trying to achieve.
Roll an intimidation check.
Could I convince you to let me roll a performance check?
Yes, I can. Yes, you can.
Thank you. As it's 14.
14. It's a good performance, but these guys are single-minded in what they're doing. They care not so much for what you are doing. Anything else from you, Pillar?
Again, trying to maintain a defensive position, so as putting myself in between everyone, so that if they are trying to rush anyone, they have to pass me.
Okay. Theo, the lightning law pulled you to the ground. It didn't damage you, but it did pull you to the ground. What are you doing?
So where did I hit the ground? Did I hit the ground right behind him? Like I kind of got like 10 feet and he pulled me back and then he got grappled?
So, yeah, I would say as you were flying over the top of him, he turned around, threw the whip, pulled you down, so you're on the floor between him and his men. Okay. Cecil is on the other side of him from you.
All right, so I hit the ground with a thud, and that thing happens where you hit your chin on the ground, and you hear this little click where your teeth hit your other teeth. Yeah, and her head starts ringing, and then she uses half her movement to get up. Brushes herself off, and then she's going to turn and glare daggers at the Skull Crusher guy, and then turn back around to the complex, the palace, and in a voice that you guys have never heard Theodora use before, she casts Thaumaturgy, and she decries, "High Mistress of Hagane Buto, we have returned with hope! Please attend!" And then I'm just going to keep eye contact with the Skull Crusher guy. Like nothing he knows. Nothing.
He's scowling at you.
Nothing you do can stop this from happening.
Okay. Anything else from you?
That's enough.
Okay. So, Gold Crusher. In the restraints. You have all signed your lives away. You will spend the rest of your days mining in the deep. He's going to start casting a spell whilst in Cecil's grip. I'm sure no one's going to fight him on that. Nope. Okay. He is casting Thunderwave. So, with Thunderwave, I think because of the descriptions of positions, Pellier, where did you say you were stood?
I am between the party and the guards.
Okay, so you're effectively near, actually next to Theo, then, right? So we've got Theo and you, Gold Crusher, Solomon, and Daffy, right? Does that sound about right? Split like that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so in this case, the casting of Thunderwave is going to hit Cecil and Daffy. I need both of you to roll a Constitution saving throws.
I believe I get to shoot an arrow in his face.
Yes, you do. You had readied an action to see. Well, your trigger was
technically, I said if anyone stabbed her in the face. I thought that was clear. If you want to be specific, I'll let you do it.
So, let's get the Thunderwave off first. No, so it's just Cecil and Daphne rolling con saves. Because it's only a 15-foot cube that is created. Obi, why am I terrible with names today? Obi is well away from this, hiding in a hovel somewhere.
At least 40 feet.
Natural 20.
I got a
Natural
7.
20 and a 7. Okay, so Daffy holds her ground. There is nothing moving that furbolg. But Cecil, you get blasted back 10 feet. Daffy takes 6 points of thunder damage. Cecil takes 12 as he gets pushed back. He lands on his feet, no longer being held. Turns around. Guards, arrest these individuals. They will face trial. And we will move.
I mean, at that point, doesn't he get an arrow in the face?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, arrow in the face.
Still good to shoot him. Excuse me, that was the wrong button. That gave me auto crits. Sorry. Oh, I crit anyway. So that's 12 points of slashing damage plus my sneak attack because I'm hidden for another 12. So 24 points of piercing damage from a short bow arrow to the face.
24 points of piercing damage, you say?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Gold Crusher falls.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
An arrow in his neck from nowhere. No one knowing what just happened.
Shit.
Cecil, you're prone. You get back up. Gold Crusher's on the floor. A familiar-looking arrow protruding from his neck. Blood spilling along the floor. A whole host of confused guards right now staring behind you into the darkness. It's pretty clear all attention has left Theo, Daffy, and Pelé, and all attention is on the darkness behind. What do you do, Cecil?
In anger and rage, Cecil will use his movement to walk as close to the guy's body, look him down, spit on him, and just say, "You cur, piece of shit, sub dwarf." Start kicking his body, and I'm gonna look at the guards. And Daffy told us that we know that help is coming, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So am I close enough to the guards that I can finally use my necrotic shroud to frighten them?
Yes.
Hell yeah!
You're also
all right.
close enough to Pellier and Theo for it to affect them as well.
It's okay. I'm blinded by rage because they not only did they hurt my friend, but they hurt my family pride. Garbage ass dwarf. All right, so I'm going to activate my necrotic shroud, but mine's a little bit different. It's instead of it being
this thing just got turned up to 11.
Skeleton, instead of like skeleton like wings, it's like one Sephiroth wing, like the angel wing, and then like a demon wing, like Cloud, like in Kingdom Hearts, and then like my blue eye glows, and then my white eye glows black. And then that's when I activate my family fallen Ashmar power to frighten these fools.
Okay.
It is
so what do they have to do?
16. Charisma saving throw.
Okay.
They have to get better than 16.
And they fail. They're all terrified.
I got a 17.
Theo, what did you get? Roll a charisma save. It's okay.
Too into what's going on here. Suddenly, angel guy.
Oh, that's everyone around? Like, it doesn't exclude friendly folks, so we all need to roll?
I'm pretty sure it's just any creature, right?
Okay.
Cecil? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Once per turn, you can causing all within 10 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a 12?
1, 2. I got an 18.
Okay.
I'm
so
scared of you, Cecil.
Theo is, though.
Oh no.
And as
Theo
I
is front.
as I lightly levitate, I don't really levitate. I don't think I can fly, but it looks like I'm pretending to. I'm making it look like I levitate, like having my foot up, like one foot, and I look at all of them, like the one.
Chris Angel shit.
Yeah, like the one who decides who lives and dies is me, and then I point towards the dwarf, and I look at them, and I end my turn.
Okay. Daffy, what are you going to do
Oh boy.
in this moment?
That's a good question. All right, don't want to hurt anybody. Let's see. It's really not going to work because a lot of people are little mad at us right now. I'm freaking out. But she's gonna cast Charm Person at 3rd level and get the 3 guards closest to her.
Okay. They all have to roll wisdom saves.
Yes.
I have a 22, an 8, and a 3.
Okay. The 22 saves, but the 8 and the 3 fail.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say your charm overwrites the fear that they have currently. So they're more focused on you than they are on Cecil right now. The rest of them are so focused on Cecil that even one of them just ignored everything you just said. All right. What? Anything else?
Just try to talk to the 2 of them. I think this is just a slight misunderstanding. If we could just go inside and talk to the mistress, I think everything would be fine.
Okay. They run away. All of them, except the ones that you have control of, they retreat rather than run away. But they retreat back towards the Golden Palace. As they break through the door, you can see through it, past that grand audience chamber, is the mistress, the High Mistress, with her personal guard on their way towards you. They're running through, and they're going to close the door. And you can hear the sound of metal just sliding down behind a closed golden door. What do you think the 2, well, the 2 that are charmed by you consider you to be friendly, so they're going to stick around, almost try to stop their companions, but they turn to you. I'm sorry, mistress.
Is there another way inside? That we can maybe go talk to her, that's not like the front door that's like all locked and everything?
I don't think it is wise for you to break into the Golden Palace right now.
Not breaking in, not breaking in. We'd like to speak with her, and it seems like your friends don't really understand that we're just, we're here to help.
You did just murder a member of the High Council.
We're gonna help him. Actually, Theo, can you help him, please?
Working on it.
Okay. We're going to drop out of the initiative order right now because the initiative isn't as important. But I do need to know, what's Obi doing?
Obi is staying hidden, and you can just assume he's always taking a bonus to hide, and the next person that tries to harm a member of the group will get an arrow in the face, but otherwise I'm hiding from everyone.
Okay, roll a stealth check.
I just murdered a guy. I'm not going to come out in the open. Be like, oh, hey. 23.
Okay, all right. So, Obi's hiding. Theo goes over to his body. He is dead.
Actually,
Yeah?
he's dead, huh?
He is dead in terms of mechanically speaking. So,
I
if you have anything that can raise the dead, you're then...
Well, I was just gonna... Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I don't have anything that raises dead.
Right.
I was gonna say, though, that because I'm still frightened and Cecil is like, whoa, right now, that I was going to have to waste a first level spell slot on a healing word. Because I can't get any closer to him.
Fair enough. You would use the healing word and realize that it's not going to work. That's how you know he is dead, not just unconscious or wounded.
He needs a raising.
Yeah.
We can help with this. He'll be back, so no worries.
Okay. They look confused. You'll hear a bit of kerfuffle going on inside the palace right now as the High Mistress is trying to get out, but they won't let her. A lot of angry shouting going on out there. You've got these 2 dwarves dwarven guards with you, as kind of friendly towards you for the next couple minutes. What's the group doing right now?
I was gonna grab the Gold Crusher guy, and since I can't raise him, and there's a gaggle full of powerful people that away, I was actually gonna grab him up underneath the arms and drag him back towards the door of the palace and bang on it and be like, he needs a raising!
I'm kicking his body. Just like I'm standing on his body, kicking him.
Are you still like wings out?
Yeah, like my scarves like float up and they become the wings. So like my scarves are like.
Well then, I'll stand there and just plead, Cecil, please get off of him, please, I beg you. We're not making this any better by having this guy out here in the open. This is not how this should have gone.
Cecil, stop.
And then I guess how long does that last? I think like a minute.
You can end it early, though, I believe.
Yeah, so I think I for the whole minute until it snaps out, and then I look at everybody and I continue to kick his dead body.
Cecil, stop it! It's not helping.
I'm just gonna turn around and then just walk to a rock and just sit down and pout.
Dragging the body, dragging the body, dragging the body. Quickly.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage, trying to get the door to open. You did just kill this guy.
Can I aid her?
I didn't do it.
Yes. No, I know you didn't, but and anyone in the party can do the persuasion check, but at disadvantage. I'm not limiting it just to Theo here. You guys, as a group, were instrumental in his death, so you guys, as a group, can try to get in to convince a raising.
We have no idea where this arrow came from. This is totally a surprise to us as well.
Mm-hmm.
We really just want to help him. It was kind of, I guess, a misunderstanding, and then that arrow came out of nowhere, right?
I'm gonna mutter to myself like, I'm glad he's dead, asshole.
So I got a 11 with disadvantage.
11 with disadvantage, okay. Right. They will call out through the door. We will leave the body, step away from it, back away.
I'll do that. Anything that can help our reputation at this point.
I want to get in a position so that them backing away doesn't block my view of anyone I may want to shoot once the door is open. If that's possible.
That is possible. Okay. The guards come out, and they begin to collect the body, and they mutter amongst themselves. They pull the body inside, close the door.
A wave
a
at
moment
the
later,
mistress.
Yeah, she's trying, but she's being held back by some guards right now. Just in a dire situation. After the doors close, there are some tense few moments that go by. Then you hear a bit of a scream and a shout, and a loud shuffle as a now currently floating what was his name again? Ishido Shotaro, using the fly spell to keep himself moving at a fairly brisk pace, comes flying down the path around towards the Golden Palace. So this man that you had seen at this library, this person that had sold you the Dispel magic scrolls, is now rushing as quickly as he can towards, and unless you stop him, he's just going to push past, knock on the door a couple times, and then they'll open the door and he'll go inside. No stopping? Okay. All right.
How far am I from that door? How many feet?
Quite quite a distance, I would say.
More than
At least
120
100.
feet? Okay,
Why?
that's fine.
Why?
Just wondering what my run speed is. If I could get in the door when it opens, but that's too far. We're good.
Okay. So as he rushes past you, he goes inside there. What? I honestly was not expecting you to get into this situation. I'm trying to think of all the knock-on effects that would immediately happen. Yeah, an alarm would start to ring throughout the entire place. The whole place is now being alerted. What are you guys doing during all of this? Still staying where you are in front of the palace?
Daphne, are you still able to put on a disguise today?
Yeah.
Maybe we should flee into the city while you disguise yourself as a dwarf and you sneak in while we are leading them on a run through the city. Or we can even surrender ourselves, but you could be disguised as a dwarf. It is you with the scroll, and you can save the man in the coma.
I'm going undercover. All right.
Unless anyone else has an idea, I think we have to decide quickly, though.
All right.
No. Okay. Okay.
Can you bury it?
Cover me.
Why don't
yeah.
you become a guard, and then
Can-
we'll cause this, we'll surrender, and I'll try to keep him at bay or something.
Can you bury it?
Bury what?
The scroll.
Bury it? Like in the
Someone
ground?
take it from you.
Oh, yeah.
What?
So Daphne has 2 scrolls. I think Theodora is suggesting that we don't put all our eggs in one basket. If you would
okay.
have one scroll and then either give us the other one or bear the other one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bury it.
And then she'll turn herself into looking kind of like one of the guards that she was talking to. Not exactly like, but kind of like.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So dressed in the golden black armor that they were wearing, you head towards the door and just give it a good bang while everyone else runs off and hides.
Are we hiding or are we surrendering?
Cecil's not hiding. He's standing his ground.
I would be of a mind to surrender because I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. I will put on my sword, or sheathe my sword, and put my hands up.
Okay. All right. The place begins to liven up, and members of the city begin pouring out of their homes. And it's like looking at an anthill from a distance as all of these little beings just start scurrying around the outside and across all of the walkways as most of the city starts gathering towards this one location. When they start getting close towards you, no one actually gets into that lowest plateau. Everyone kind of stays on the next ring up, away from you, looking at everything. Then some individuals, specifically 13 individuals, then all leave the large throng and walk past you. As they begin making their way past you, they keep a wide berth. All of these older gentlemen, these older male dwarves, dressed in exactly the same way as Gold Crusher was, dressed in a regal armor with robing over the top. They shuffle forwards and get let in through the front door of this. At which point, at the same time as they get let in, so too does Daffy. Daffy, as you get kind of pushed in, as they just kind of assume you're one of them without, there's too much going on that they don't really bother to check. You can see that Gold Crusher is lying on the floor. He is being attended to by that old man that tried to get a date with you.
Ishido Shotaro.
Shotaro. Roll an insight check for me. I want to see how well you can read this situation.
Daffy?
Daffy.
Or who?
Daffy.
Oh boy. All
I would
right.
also like to note when she changed form in my sniper's perch at this point that I try to pay particular attention to exactly what she looks like as much as I can from a distance.
Yes. Please don't shoot her.
I guess as long as she doesn't
That's
attack
a
a member of the party.
7.
It's a 7.
She's
Okay.
real insightful.
That's all right. So, you once you get inside, everyone's kind of gathering at the front entrance, and if you remember, the front entrance has the little coat check, and then it drops into the grand chamber. The 13 members immediately walk past Gold Crusher and go and take seats in the grand chamber. Guards are now forcibly pushing the High Mistress and her sergeant back into their private quarters. They are not to be a part of this. What are you doing, Daffy?
Trying to find the mistress. Can I see where she's at?
You can see her. She's on the other side of the auditorium, and she's being pushed back by guards away from here.
Can I, in the hubbub, attempt to blend in with the rest of the folks to try to get a little closer to her?
You can. Roll a deception check. As you start behaving like some of these other dwarves, or performance could potentially work.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. She's gonna look around and like put on the role of I am a dwarven guard. All right.
You join in with the whole pushing her back into her quarters. Yep.
14.
14? Okay. It's not too difficult. These guys are a little focused. Yeah, okay. Somehow, luck be on your side tonight. You get the mistress, and one of the guards turns to you and even says, "You, go inside, stay with them, while we'll stay on this side of the door. Make sure they don't go out any other ways." Okay? They throw you inside and close the door behind you. To which point the sergeant is already there with his blade ready to attack you. What do you do, Daffy?
Attack me?
Yes, because you look like a dwarf that just forced them into the bedrooms. So the sergeant, who is the personal private guard of the High Mistress.
Got it.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
It took me a
So
second.
they pushed you inside. The city guard. Maybe I should clarify. The High Council guard pushed you into the room with the intent of making sure they stay there, and then 2 other High Council guards stayed on the other side of the door. Then, as soon as the door closed, the mistress's sergeant then draws his sword, intent to attack you. What do you do?
I will, in Daffy's actual voice, say, "It's okay. I'm not. This is just it's an illusion. I'm trying to help."
Okay. It's not been too long since they last dealt with you. They remember your voice. They both calm down. Okay. The High Mistress approaches you. What's going on?
I don't exactly know, but I have something that can help. Can we get to your husband?
Yes, and she'll pull you over to the private room that has his bed in it, and he's just lying there.
All right.
As normal.
Get that scroll, and I'll go ahead and cast. Kind of nervously opening it up, like, okay.
As you perform this spell, this ritual of reading through the spell scroll, igniting the magic that's within it to try and really to fix whatever's going on, the magic begins to flare, but I need you to make a spellcasting ability check.
Okie doke. So that'd be a charisma check. So just straight charisma?
Just straight charisma. Yep. D20 plus your charisma modifier.
Okie doke. So 13 plus 4 is 17.
17. It is a powerful casting that you draw. There is a moment where you almost watch sparks of arcane energy ignite on the edges of the paper. The scroll is disappearing before your very eyes and being channeled through you towards the High Lord of the Citadel. As the little sparks of energy cascade onto his body, they begin to change. They seem to turn from a nice, pleasant blue hue to an ignited red, as they then take on the form of a face. They kind of gather together into a dot artwork vision of a face of an elderly woman. And she stares at you with these bright red eyes. The vision changes into a full-on flame representation of a witch of some sorts. You won't have him. He's mine. The whole citadel is mine. And I'll come for you and your friends next. Run. Hide, little girl.
Who you calling
And the
little?
flame will dissipate and disappear. The High Lord, unfortunately, unaffected by the Dispel Magic spell. But you know there's someone behind it. What are you going to do, Daffy?
I'm sorry, mistress. We thought that would do it, but I guess this enchantment is a lot more powerful than we thought. Okay. All right. I gotta try to get back to my friends. Oh no, they're kind of in trouble right now.
What does this mean? Was it? So
Did you see the mean face too with the eyes? It was real scary, right? Was it
yeah.
just me? Okay.
Oh, I sorry. What does that mean? Who is she, and who did this?
Have you ever seen anyone like it before?
No.
Any mean old ladies trying to take over the Citadel that you know about?
I mean, no one. There were rumors before about hags in the deep.
Hags?
Like night hags that were preying on people that came down. Those are the only old women that I've experienced recently that would have any problem with the city. But
Has your husband been down to the deep recently?
they go on hunting trips all the time. Excuse me, sorry.
All right.
Oh, this is bad. This is bad, isn't it?
It's all right. We'll figure it out. But I do have to get back to my friends.
Okay.
And they're kind of surrounded by a bunch of guards right now. Anything you could help with?
There is something you might be able to do. If you can convince members of the council to support a hunt for this entity,
Okay.
that might we might be able to prove innocence through that.
Okay. Should I do that as me, or should I keep pretending to be whoever this is?
Which do you think is going to be more effective?
I'll stay like this for now. Okay.
Okay. All right. So they'll go back towards the door. As if you knock on it to go through, the sergeant and the high mistress will start pretending as if you were being mean to them the whole time, and trying to beef you up. But how are you going to get past the two guards that put you in there to stay in there?
She's gonna tell me that she has to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I really gotta go.
Right now? Right?
I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Come on.
Fine. You know where you're going, right?
Yep. Definitely.
Noobs, they say to one another. We shouldn't allow the interns to work the important shifts, you know? Okay. So, you now are free. That took a little bit of time to do. The council deliberated very quickly and have been arguing back and forth outside in that room. But by now, guards have begun to pour out of the Golden Palace to surround the rest of the crew. Well, I say rest of the crew, 3 of them. They don't close in, they don't try to actually arrest you, but they're just giving a presence to keep you all there. While Daffy is out, one of the High Council will come out. An elderly person who looks similar to the Rockfist that you've met, for the person that runs the tavern, but older, less hair on his head. I need to hear your side of the story. I am Con Maris, head of the Maris family. What is your side of the story?
I'm gonna look around to see if anybody is looking at me to speak.
He's looking at Cecil specifically.
Thank goodness.
All right. I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to like interrupt anybody. That's why. But
No.
I would look dead in his eyes, anger seeping through. We are here because we want to help the mistress, and that insolent, that trash, got in our way, and he attacked our friend. So, I tried grappling him, and something happened. Well, now that's pretty much what happened. So, if you could just let us at least speak with the mistress, or if we can at least have a meeting with whoever else that we need to have, so we can get this over with, because we're here to help this kingdom now. This is you guys made and I point at the guys, whatever that guy is. He made it our problem now when he attacked my friend.
Strokes his long beard. Calls it.
I would like to be nodding along as Cecil is speaking. Is this true? Is this man? He attacked my friend unprovoked. He struck out first. None of us shot the arrow that slew him. We do not know where it came from, but if one of us were to have done it, it would have been in self-defense, as we were not the aggressors in this case.
Right. He'll point to Cecil. In a moment, I'm going to be presenting your argument to the High Council. Now, I would like to believe that you are innocent in this, but your attitude and the words that you're using remove that completely. When presented before the council, and when invited to speak before the council, as you surely will be, I invite you to keep your childish tongue to itself, and do not use vulgar language when referring to someone who has just died, where you are suspect. That puts a level of guilt upon you that you do not need. Calm down.
I look at him and I say, I wish you would have taught that to that man. He really needed that little lesson.
May I pray with my companion real quick? Give him some of the strength that he may require.
You may. You may. He will step away. He'll speak to one of the guards, who will now go actively running searching for the source of the arrow.
I believe I have specifically stated that I've moved away from where that arrow came from, right?
Yeah. And this guy is not able to find you. You're too stealthy to be able to be found. But they're going to be searching your area, searching anything they can for you. So you'll be slightly on the move regularly during all of this. Okay. Right. What are you doing, Theo?
If is he still in scary mode?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, she's still gonna be very timid when approaching him.
As you approach, you're gonna hear me mutter, "I am son of the Miss Halfway. I'm murdering to calm myself. I'm halfway. I'm a leader. I'm like muttering. There's like, and then snap. Okay, and I'm
all right. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna give him a hug. I'm just gonna close my eyes and
I will pat her on the head, and I say, "I'm fine. You can let go."
Nope, I'm doing a thing. And I cast enhance ability, and I would like to give him Eagle's Splendor.
Okay.
That sounds cool.
And what, pray tell, does Eagle's Splendor do for Cecil?
It will give him advantage on charisma checks for 1 hour, as long as I'm concentrating.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sick.
So he will return shortly. Have you calmed down? Have your supplications to your deity helped calm your ego?
It's done something.
Yeah, sure.
Good. All three of you, follow me. Oh, my grandson told me there was 5 of you. What happened to the other 2?
I can say with complete and 100% honesty that I have no idea where either of them are.
Yeah.
Running away from the scene of the crime is a dangerous situation.
Some people just
Very well.
aren't as honorable as we are, you know.
So they'll go inside. He'll actually guide you into the Golden Palace, which the door will then close. So Obi, unfortunately, unless you rushed in to help them, to be with them, and made yourself known, you're not going to be needed inside the Golden Palace. Obi? Hello, Obi. No response from him?
Sorry, I was muted. So without endangering my cover where I'm hidden, And it may not be possible, but I'm going to try to work around the building and see if I can work my way on top of the roof or something and try to infiltrate the building, but probably very slowly and cautiously so I don't get caught.
Okay. So it's a place on high alert right now.
Right. I mean, this may not be possible, in which case I'll stay outside.
It's going to be extremely difficult. You can try, but it's going to be extremely difficult. And you have no idea what kind of defenses this place has. Do you still try?
Curse you. Yes.
Okay. Roll a stealth check.
I was going to say, curse you, personality traits. Ah!
The Golden Palace is very shiny.
Because since I am really taking my time and have been for the last, 20 minutes observing everything, can I get advantage?
On stealth? Why would that give you advantage on stealth?
Well, there's a difference between stealthing as you run across a field and stealthing as in, okay, here's the patrol, here's how it works. I'm going to move in a very specific way based upon what I have observed and know about the surroundings to increase my chance of not getting caught.
Okay, roll with advantage.
24.
Okay, all right. You carefully make your way around the upper circle till you get to a vantage point where you could lower yourself down to the Golden Palace itself. There is, with your perception, 3 ways that you could enter the building without being seen. There is a window at the top of the dome structure that is the auditorium where the council chamber is, and all of this is going on. So that would be a straight drop, but you would know for a fact that the moment you cross through the window, there is no cover, nothing that could help you. Then there are 2 other ways that you could get in. There is a sally port that's just off to the side that some guardsmen are stood next to, that seems to be worked into the actual stonework of the mountainside that's right here. But judging by the amount of light coming out of it, you can tell it probably doubles back into the Golden Palace. Also heavily guarded, but available. And then there is a window. You have no idea what's on the other side of the window.
So can I sneak over to the dome and just look down and see, because I've never been to this building before. If I look down into the room without actually entering the window, what do I see underneath me?
What you see is what's currently happening with everyone now. So Cecil, Theo, and Pelé are being gathered into the center of the Grand Auditorium. The High Council have sat around the outside, and by now, Gold Crusher has been raised. He has been brought up. He's being supported by Shotaro and being walked over. He's in a weakened state. They've removed the arrow from the neck, and someone's very carefully examining the arrow to see if there's any trace of anything that could indicate where it came from. But he is being gathered in. At this point, Daffy, what are you doing? There are guards all around. There are guards intermingled with everything that's going on. What are you trying to do when you see the party in the audience hall?
If I may, while she thinks of that, I would like to stay where I am and draw my bow and arrow. And if anyone harms a member of the group, I would like to shoot them. But otherwise, I'll just sit and observe.
Okay.
Trying to blend in again to get into the chamber with the group.
Okay. All right. You can get into the chamber. You can get in, and there's plenty of guards all around the outside, but there's no guards between the High Council and the accused. And one of the members of the High Council stands up and calls out and kind of is presenting to the entire group. Gentlemen, we stand here to review the assassination attempt on our beloved council member.
All right, Davy's just gonna yell out. I think we have more pressing matters at hand. I believe there is a powerful magic, evil magic, that is keeping our former leader in the state that he is.
You'll hear it. Yeah, nah, boo, boo. And then that person that's speaking will actually kind of pick up from that. It's like, yes, and evidence to buy this activity. We are now a step closer to finding out who caused the sickness that our great High Lord has fallen to.
Sir, I must interrupt you. I've seen it.
Who are you? And he'll call up to you. Get down here. Walk past everything. What are you talking about? And please make it quick and simple. You're getting in the way.
I saw in the chamber, there was a face of a very evil-looking woman, red eyes. Saying this very loudly for other people to hear as well, like not caring about being quiet. I believe it was a hag, sir. There were rumors that they've been scouring through the deep. I think we must act, and now!
Roll a... I don't even know what skill you're going to use for this. Pick a skill and tell me how you use it.
Performance! She's in the moment.
It's all just the performance. Okay, go ahead and perform.
Ooh, not great. That's a 1. That's a 1.
But what's the total? Because nat ones aren't... What was it? 11. Okay, an 11. He spins around, turns his back on you, turns to Theo this time. You. What do you know about what's being mentioned? What do you know about hags?
I know that they're often not of this world. I know that they ally themselves with evil.
Fine. Turning to Pelir. At what time, when, did you decide that the Citadel needed to fall?
I wish to speak to my lawyer. Am I being detained?
Push past him to Cecil. Did you intend to cause all of this disruption in the city? What is your aim with causing all of this chaos?
So Cecil is going to take a big, deep breath. He's gonna look at his bracelet, family bracelet. He's gonna clutch it, and then he's gonna look, at who's talking to him. He's gonna say, "My name is Cecil Hathaway. We came here because we just, we needed a place to stay. When we met, we also came here because we have a little college student here that is trying to learn about this strange occurrence that's happening with your lord. So we decided to take the opportunity and to try and learn about it. When I saw the mistress and I saw how much her heart broke, she reminded me of my mother. And I know that my mother would have done anything that she could to protect my father, to bring him back to life, or to take away some magical enchantment, which is what it is, by the way. We kind of figured it out. So from there, we tried to help her out. And when we got here, that man stood before us. And Theo, my friend, she got angry and she tried to fly away. She wasn't trying to fly, past him. When she gets angry, she just decides to just fly and enjoy the winds. It's a part of her cleric thing, So, but for some reason, he attacked her, thinking that she was trying to get past him. And I decided to grab him. Well, he also insulted me and my family. And that's something that doesn't go swing by me. But now there's new evidence going on about hags. Well, if hags are truly what's happening here, then you're in luck, because I'm a monster hunter and I hunt hags. So, I think if you really want your lord to live, we can help you.
Roll a persuasion check at advantage. Because of the cat's grace. Not cat's grace, eagle splendor.
Eagle splendor. Yeah.
20.
20. Okay. High Councilman Gold Crusher. What insult did you give to this boy? I don't know of any insult. I was attacked when trying to do my duty. I feared for the safety of our High Mistress, for we know these individuals visited her earlier. They came back. I inquired as to what they were doing, what they did with the High Mistress, because I know nothing of their purpose to be here. As I inquired, a member of their party tried to ignore the authority of this city and fly over my head. I intended not to harm, but to detain, so that we could discuss.
Wasn't it you who sent the cleric who gave the false diagnosis in the first place? You and Chiselback. Clan Chiselback, that was it.
They did not give a false accounting of the situation. They presented what they believed to be true, and we interpreted their opinion.
I'm going to look up at the guy that was the original floor speaker and kind of give him a...
Look, I know we're outsiders.
We all know that our High Lord has been put under some great spell. We have chosen and agreed amongst ourselves that it was the work of the gods to give us new life, to push out the old traditions and bring in the new. The original speaker. Our laws are simple when it comes to this matter. If they are guilty of murdering a high official, they would be exiled into the deep. If what they claim is true, and some monster of the deep has affected us, let us do right by our laws and give them this opportunity to prove their innocence. Send these three into the deep, gentlemen, so that we can finally put this all to rest and move on to the next greater thing. There's a bunch of murmuring going on. Right. We will deliberate and vote on the verdict. Any last words from anyone?
I will note that I'm the one that actually pulled Gold Crusher back to safety to be resurrected, telling y'all what he needed. So if we three were attempting to assassinate him, then that was a very, very bad job of doing that.
I would like to add that the arrow, that none of it, if you were to compare that arrow that was lodged into his throat, and as I say into his throat, I look at him, no one here probably has an arrow that's like that. The only person would be Pelir here, because he's the only person that uses arrows. I'm more of a person that likes to stab people in the neck.
We are well aware there are more members of your party that came with you, and we are all well aware of what you did to his body after he had fallen. So,
Smile.
don't use those arguments.
Still dressed up as the dwarf. I believe in their cause. I'd like to volunteer to go with them.
There's a bunch of murmur at that point, going back and forth. After some deliberation in Dwarvish, which none of you understand, they eventually, that speaker stands up again. All right, all in favor of killing them, say aye. Now, there are presently 14 members of the High Council capable of voting, and 5 of those all raise their hand at that point to have you killed. Of which one of those is Gold Crusher, of course. Okay. And I'm sure Theo's taking notes as to which ones want them dead. Yep. Furiously note-taking. All those in favor of giving them an opportunity to... all those in favor of just exile, raise your hand. 2 people put their hand up. Those in favor of exiling them but giving them the opportunity to prove their innocence, 7 raise their hand. Of which Shitaro is present, and Morris is also. He agrees to it. It's good fellas. All right. Very well. And they turn to Daffy. You seem to be eager. You... What is your name, by the way? Who are you? Which clan are you from?
Me?
Oh.
No, Daffy. The Daffy Dwarf. Are you just smiling at him?
Yep.
Fair enough. Forget about it. You, since it was your idea, you're going to go with them. And if what they're saying is false, if they are behind it, you will have to answer to the court for disturbing us. Okay? All right, let it be known. At dawn, these will be exiled to the deep. You have 6 days to prove your innocence, lest we assume you to be lost and guilty. Hear, hear. Everyone screams, shouts, and all of that, and then people start filing out. Guards approach you guys and start shuffling you to leave the premises, but they don't continue escorting you outside of the Golden Palace. They let you walk away, but everyone is keeping their wide berth. I'm sure Daffy joins them and joins you as guard, right?
Yep.
All right, and then Obi sneaks off to regroup.
Well, I'm going to stay and listen. If there's some, like, the door's shut and they're, well, now that those interlopers are gone, let's murder the High Lord. You know, just some listening to what they might have to say afterwards.
There is a lot of deliberation, a lot of argumentation that happens, all in a language you don't understand.
That is so frustrating. All right, I'll leave.
Obi's gonna get a Rosetta Stone on Dwarven next week. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. A magic item that is specifically just, you now understand Dwarvish. So you'll regroup back at the tavern or wherever you'd like to.
Oh, they'll walk into the tavern and I'll be there drinking. If that's where they're going, I'll try to get a beat on where they're going and just try to get just ahead of them and pretend I've been there the whole time.
So, thoughts, everyone?
I'm gonna see Obi. I'm gonna sit next to him, give him a pat on the shoulder, and say thank you. Just sit next to him.
Well, I think I must have left you in more trouble. I shot that fellow, and then things got really crazy, so I ran away from there. I would not do well to get caught again. You know me and falling into jail. Oh.
I just look at him again and I say thank you.
You all look very tired. I will buy drinks for everyone.
Daffy, is that you?
Yeah.
That's very convincing.
Was
You did a
it?
really good job, yeah.
I got really method about it. I really got into the character.
I seriously thought that a random dwarf was following us out.
Thanks.
Are we under guard, or is it just understood that like we're going to be exiled in the morning?
You're going to be exiled in the morning, but you are technically under guard, as they didn't really question the fact that the person who is to be exiled with them, the dwarf that is in trouble, is following you. So I guess it's kind of assumed that the dwarf will follow you forever. Okay.
Daphne, what happened with the scroll? Tell us all about it.
Well, okay. I tried to do the spell, and then there was this big, ugly old lady's face with like big red eyes, and she said that he was hers, and that she was gonna take down the whole citadel, and it was real scary. And then she called me little. I don't like that very much.
Bitch!
I'm not. I mean, well, it's also just factually wrong. I mean, I'm really not that little.
You are now.
Convincing your disguise is very convincing. This is probably what is confusing.
Oh, I didn't think of that. You're right.
But are you a girl dwarf or a boy dwarf?
Well, I mean, it's just an illusion.
She still said you're a little. She said little girl, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she saw.
Were
through
you
it.
disguised as a boy dwarf or a girl dwarf?
I was
Can you tell
disguised
the
as a.
difference?
I was disguised as a girl dwarf.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
What spells do I know of that could have the effect like what she was talking about? Like, I don't know. Would I know?
Of the interaction with the dispel magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the face comes out. What is that?
So roll an Arcana check or history, something like that.
I too would like to see if I can glean any information about the reaction she described from the Arcana. But I guess it's not necessary.
I got that 20.
12.
Okay. I see by your reaction you're excited. So, you have studied and heard of in the past that there are certain cases where entities mix spells. You've heard of tales of strange magical effects that have been created as a result of great experimentation. There we go. In these cases, it's usually been some dark entity doing some evil deed with this wicked magic, and they utilize this experimental form of magic mixtures purely because it's harder to remove, it's harder to dispel. A lot of times they're usually protected against dispels, and this very well could have been an effect that was built into the magic specifically designed to affect anyone that tried to dispel it.
Okay, are we talking about kind of like a contingency sort of?
Kind of like a
Base layer?
contingency sort of thing that's on top of the magic that was on. From what you've described, it's almost like an automated message that was triggered by someone attempting to dispel the greater enchantment.
So, sorry to say it, gang, but in order to accomplish something like that, it sounds like we are going to be tangling with a pretty expert mage. That's some potent magic.
Theodora, do you know if the result of that message was caused because the potency of the dispel was insufficient, or is it perhaps there's no potency of dispel that would overcome this thing?
Is that something that I could tell with my 24?
Yes, in these cases, when this kind of thing has happened, it's usually been that no amount of dispel, short of their concentration breaking or divine intervention, no level of dispel has worked.
So theoretically, when you have spells baked into spells like this, it's possible for the caster of the spell to introduce an element that takes whatever energy you're actually distributing to dispel it and actually displaces it somewhere else. If that is what is happening here, then I'm afraid no amount of dispel from directly in front of the victim could work. If that is what it is. So that makes me think that we're actually going to have to go and slay the creator of the spell. That's the only way that we'll be able to sever that connection.
After you say that, I'm going to get up and I'm going to look at everybody. I will be in the room. I must prepare. When it's time to leave, please come get me. And as I walk, I start taking off my scarf and taking my blade and head into my room.
That man takes monsters very seriously.
Did anyone else notice that he said something about we don't have a lot of time, or he didn't have a lot of time? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure if that was the appropriate time to bring it up. We should probably... Well, I don't know if we should... Because if we ask him in a group, he might feel put upon. Maybe you should ask individually tomorrow.
Me?
You're generally very likable. I mean, nothing you say usually has any intent to harm behind it, so...
Well, all right. I'll ask him. I hope it's nothing bad.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, and if I understand the situation, right, you guys are going to converse a little bit more, but you are going to rest here now. There's not going to be any additional excursions out of the tavern tonight, right?
Obi usually sneaks out at night, but he'll sneak out and we'll just chat about it before next session. Okay.
And so we'll do all of that next week on the World of Horen. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us tonight. We appreciate your patronage, for viewing us, for following us, subscribing to us. You guys are awesome. We like the fact that you enjoy what we do. Please follow us on our various connections. Each individual that has social media handles, you should see their handles are available in, I believe, on the overlay, right? Yeah. So give each one of them a follow. They do some fantastic work. They're great people. Follow us on Twitter. We're at Crituitous RP. If you're watching this on YouTube, jump over to our Twitch channel. Follow us there. If you're watching us on Twitch, go over to our YouTube channel and go and follow us there. We like the engagement. Feel free to engage with us. We'll try to respond as best as we can. What else does anyone else have going on in the week? Anything at all?
Yeah. I'll be on the Greyhawk channel on Saturdays at 12 o'clock Eastern for Rise of the Temple of Elemental Evil. And on Sundays, I will be over on Encounter RP for Young Heroes of Fate. That's at 5 Eastern. Check me out.
I also have a new game. It is also on the Greyhawk channel. Yay! It's on Fridays. I think it's 4 p.m. EST. But you can go to the channel and check out the schedule. They'll have it. I'm playing a halfling barbadgeran, so check that out.
Barbadgeran.
Okay, no,
Okay.
since you asked, it's a bear totem barbarian flavor. It's a badger instead of a bear, because they have the tough honey badgers have really really tough skin, and you can sting them in the nose and they don't do anything. So, what's up with that? Go check it out.
Check it out. All right. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.